Hello guys, Nigel here with you again and with another review, but this time we're going to be using some paint. I did mention these in my last video, or my last but one video. My last video was all about the Border Models Lancaster coming. Yay! These are a new range of paints from MRP, and they are, I've always liked MRP paints. The only downside to them is two downsides actually. One is they stink to high heaven and they can't be any good for you, so you really need to be doing them in a booth with a mask on and all that sort of stuff. The other thing is they're airbrush ready and they are very thin, which means that when you get their primers and stuff, like I've got over here, let's grab this, this is the white one, and they are very thin. As you can see, they're airbrush ready, and the pigments come out in the bottom and you need to give them a good old shake, but they are very thin, so they don't cover very well. If you're a regular person with priming, you'll know that, like Stynel Res, which is like an acrylic primer, vroom vroom, done, covered. Depending how thin you mix it, you've got your Mr. Surfacers and stuff. You know, they are very, very good. This is, I'll just show you on here, this is a Mr. Surfacer Black. You know, quick, once over, job done over light grey plastic. To get that with the MRP, you would need a good 2 or 3 coats. So it doesn't tend to go as far because it is a lot thinner, but it is airbrush ready, and once it's down and it's dry, it is as tough as old boots. I did my test recently with this stuff here, which is the Mark Fit Super Strong, and the only paints this didn't attack were the Tamiya LP and the MRP. So, you know, it's also safe on 2K obviously, but yeah, it's evil stuff. If you're looking for decal setting solutions, be very, very careful with this one. It will eat your paint alive. So basically what we're going to do today, we're going to try out these new colours. So I haven't got all of them. There is a whole range of Japanese colours. I've got the Ataki Blue. Okay, I've got the Ataki Green. I've got the INAF J3 SP Olive Grey. Now, I don't know why I ordered this one, but I did, so very strange. This one's the Cowling colour, which is that very, very dark, inky, greeny, bluey sort of colour. And this one here is the Mitsubishi Cockpit colour. Now, I have actually got, I've got these two kits here, and I've just had a look through the instructions. I've got this one here, which is the Hasegawa 32nd scale kit, and they give you all the colours in Mr. Colour, and Mr. Hobby seem to have all the colours sorted, but in their C range, in their lacquer paints rather than the aqueous. And I've got this one here, which is a good old favourite, a lot of people love. This is the A6M2B0 from Tamiya. I think it's one of their first 32nd scale kits. 2006 is the date on there, you can see. But it is a beautiful kit, and if you like your kits to have working features, this has got like retractable undercarriage. You can fold the wingtips up and down, I think, or you can display them either way or whatever. But yeah, full of photo etch, seat belts, it's got everything really nice. And the packaging, there you go, the packaging is quite amazing. You get like an overlay in the box, and then what you do is take this out afterwards and you can actually store the model. There we go, it shows you here, look, you can store the model in the box once it's built. And you can put the stand, undercarriage, everything in there. Very, very clever. But what's interesting is in here it tells you to use, for the cowling it tells you to use X18, which is incorrect. And for the cockpit they tell you to use XF71. Well, this is XF71, and this is the colour that most of us tend to use for our British cockpits, although it says on here cockpit green, Imperial Japanese Navy. And if we look at the cockpit green here, we can see that it's, in fact, on the camera it looks a lot closer than it does in the flesh. Okay, the camera's playing tricks with the colours. That's something else I've got to be careful of here. Pay no attention really to the actual colour, but pay attention to how they compare to each other. We're going to spray some on this B-52 wing, because the camera, it just doesn't, if you don't know what I mean, just look up MiG-23 cockpit, yeah, on Google Images, and look at all the hundreds of different shades of that beautiful turquoisey green cockpit, the colour they use. Look at all the different shades just from different cameras on different days. It's just mental. So yeah. So the actual colour themselves. The other thing I don't know is in this kit here, they talk about a mix of X13, 3 parts X13, which is a metallic blue, and 1 part X26, which is a clear green. So are they referring to a tacky blue or a tacky green primer? Being correct for this aircraft and also for the Raiden as well. Would it be a tacky blue or would it be a tacky green, or could it be either? It depends what they used on the day. If you could let me know in the comments below, please, I'd be grateful. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't build anything but Japanese aircraft. There's some proper Japanese aircraft fans out there. So anyway, we're going to do a little bit of painting. I'm going to put my fan on, have the window open so it'll blow across. So probably won't do much talking. So some of you will say thank God for that. And we've also got this here. This was something I did before with some metallic paints, I think, and polished them up. So we'll see what those primers look like over these colours on here. So but the rest of it is going to be done just on bare plastic, just to see what it's like. But I know it will spray beautifully. The other thing I've done, I have here, where is my bag? I have here, as you know, I'm an engineer used to work in factories and stuff, and whenever machines had their ceramic bearings replaced, these are actually ceramic balls from ceramic bearings. Put them in your paints and use them as your shakers, because you know they're not going to corrode. Sometimes you get steel balls that rust. Some stainless steels will rust, believe me. Yeah, so a lot of people think stainless steel doesn't rust and it's non-magnetic, but you can actually get stainless steel that rusts and is magnetic. Just look up S420 as one grade of stainless steel that rusts and it's magnetic. So basically I use those ceramic balls and I know I won't have any problems, and then when the paints run out I can pour them into some thinners, clean them off and use them again. So I've got those in here because you can see I haven't shaken this one, but this was shaken about 10 minutes ago, and you can see in the bottom there, you can see the silver is already settled. But if you watch how quick it disperses, he says, there you go, you can see it all dispersing already. So you're going to have to make sure you give these a really good shake and keep your airbrush agitated. Put your finger over the end of the nozzle every now and again and stir back through. You can see now we've broken down all of that silver and mixed it all into the paint. But it does start to settle. You can see there it's starting to settle again very quickly. It does settle out. So let's have a go with these paints and see what they look like. Okay, so we're going to start off with the Ataki Blue. This is MRP 410, and I'm going to spray some on the silver. I'm going to spray some on the grey, and we'll see how it looks. I've got the airbrush set about 15 psi, so, and then we're just going to sort of lay it on thin. As I say, we need to keep it agitated, so every now and again I'm just going to put my finger over the nozzle, just pull back and just agitate the paint that's in there. So very, very light coats. Just going to build it up slowly and see how it looks. Just thinking this will also be good for doing exhausts and stuff, wouldn't it? And for heat staining on the back of your jet fighters. So similar amounts over the silver and over the blue, over the grey plastic. So I'm going to go into the blotchy mood now rather than straight lines to avoid stripes. You can see it's covering beautifully. It's going down very fine, and it does dry very quickly as well. And as I say, when it is dry, it's very hard wearing. So I don't know how well you're going to see the colour. Let me have a look. Okay, I can tell you now that it looks slightly darker on the camera than it is in real life. But we can see already, I mean, I'm not even putting a thumb mark in it. It's brilliant paint. It really is good stuff. There we go. That's the green, the blue. So let's see what the green looks like. Right, so I've got the green in the airbrush now. Literally what I'm doing these days between colours, and I'm finding it's working really, really well. Maybe you want to try this and let me know. But literally, I put like, I don't know, 1 milliliters of this through the airbrush, blow it back, and then what I do, I save that thinners, I pour it in a jar. You can see there's a jar of dirty thinners, and then when I'm using primer or whatever, I use this to thin the primer. Saves you wasting your thinners. It's, you know, it's just me. It's better than pouring it into your airbrush cleaning station. But basically, that's all I'm doing, and that's all I do between colours now, and it seems to work. And at the end of, if you could try this, please let me know if it works. But you know, sometimes you pick your airbrush up and you know, you pull back and it sticks because it's got dried up paint in there or whatever. What I've been doing lately is just every session at the end, I just put a milliliter of rapid thinners in there, give it a good clean out, and then put another drop in there, blow it through, and then just put the airbrush to one side. And I have never, since I've been doing that, come back to a sticky needle. So if you could try it and let me know. I think I may have found a little, but it only seems to work with the rapid thinners. It doesn't work with Mr. Colour Leveling thinners, it only works with this. So whether this is a really hot solvent or something, it just dissolves everything that's in there. But I've had no dirty airbrush issues at all for quite a few weeks since I've been doing this. And it even works if you know, sometimes if you sprayed silver and then you go on to matte black, you'll see metallic particles in the silver, in the black. Not with this. So give it a go. So there's our green. So we can see in there that it's all starting to separate. So I'm just going to put my finger over the nozzle, just pull back gently, and just give it a little mix up in the pot. Okay, and then we're going to try some on the silver and see how it looks. To be honest, I don't think it makes a lot of difference. So I'm just going to go over here with the green. As you can see, I'm spraying it very, very fine so as not to let it, I don't want it to build up or pool or anything. I'm just trying to just change the colour really, so you can see we've got our green there, and we'll do some more over here. There we go, that should be enough, and then we can go to our blotchy pattern so we don't get any lines and stripes in it. There we go, a bit more over here perhaps. And there we are. And we can see the difference in the colour. Now the camera is really showing up the blotchiness there, but I can't really see it. Well, yes I can in the light. So if I just get some down, build it up, get the proper green into it. Give it a bit of a mix up. I'm seeing silver coming out. So there we are. You can imagine if you're doing this, you're going to be in a wheel well, on an undercarriage door. You're not going to be necessarily trying to get an even finish on a panel like this, but you can see that that's a lot nicer. And honestly, over the silver, I don't think it makes any difference. So there's no point whatsoever in doing a pre-coat, but you can see that is dry already. So very, very nice indeed. And this is a little experiment. Let's see what it looks like if you mix the two. So go lightly over the blue with the green. It's quite an interesting effect. So there we are. So that's that all done. Get the airbrush cleaned out, and we'll move on to these other three colours. Right, so colour number 3, and this is the Mitsubishi Cockpit Colour Aged M0M1, World War II, Imperial Japanese Army Air Force, and Imperial Japanese Navy Air Force. So let's have a look what this one's like. Again, it's a base colour, so it's going to go down lovely. So we just build it up lightly. I'll come over here and lay down my band for where I'm going to go. Then we just lay it down lightly, straight onto bare plastic, as you can see. Again, you wouldn't be doing this On a large flat area it would be on your cockpit parts. So, you know, it'd be nothing like this. You wouldn't have the issues of leaving tram lines and stuff. You can see they're just building up. I wouldn't necessarily use this technique for spraying a cockpit. Probably put it on a layer, you know, thin layer, let it dry, thin layer, let it dry. But literally, you only need to leave it a couple of minutes between coats. So there we are. There's our cockpit green, and when you compare that to the suggested XF71, it's quite a difference. So there we go. So yeah, as you can see, it sprays beautifully, no thinning, no messing about. Just, you know, and if you do want to thin it, I think you just thin it with Mr. Colour Leveling thinners. But very nice indeed. Right, the next colour now is this Imperial Japanese Navy Air Force J3 SP Olive Grey Mitsubishi. I don't really know why I've bought this one, to be honest, because I don't have a clue what it's for. I've probably written down the wrong number is what I've done when I ordered them. But if anybody can tell me what it's actually used for, or what, you know, like RAF Dark Earth is generally World War II aircraft camouflage, you know, that. If you can tell me what it is, I'd be grateful. I'd love to know. So again, we're just going to do a little test patch, yeah. And again, I will mark out my demarcation there, and then just lay this down. I'm looking at this green colour. In real life it looks very, very much, it would be a great substitute for American cockpit green, you know, the lighter cockpit green in B-25s and stuff, not the is it called azure green, or the, you know, the dark green that they used in Thunderbolts and that. So there we go. That's all blotchy, as you can see. And I'm not sure why on earth I've bought this, as I say, because I haven't got a clue what it's for. And I don't recall ever seeing any Japanese aircraft in this colour, or indeed any part of any Japanese aircraft in this colour. So, like I say, I'd be interested to know. So there we are, that's that gone down. Once again, as I say, it's just such lovely paint to paint. It's lovely paint to use in the airbrush. As I say, the only downside is it stinks and it doesn't go very far. But, there we go, I've managed to spatter something over there as well when I've cleaned the airbrush. Look. Right, so get that one cleaned out, and then we'll look at this. This one here is going to be a promising one. I think I might do a bit of black next to it just to see what it's like. Okay, so this is the Imperial Japanese Navy Air Force Q1 cowling colour. Now, MRP 432, and I got this because, as you can see, it's not black. And when you look at the picture on the front of the box here, you can see they've given it like a kind of, it's almost like a burnt steel look, rather than just being black paint. So I think that's what this colour is all about. So I've got some LP5 here, which is equivalent to X18, which is what Tammy tell you to spray it. So what we'll do is we'll spray some of this down here, and then I'll spray some of this down next to it, and we'll see if we can see a difference. But certainly when you look in the airbrush, I don't know if you can see this now, but you can, it's very difficult to see. It's not black, it's like a very, very dark bluey green. It's almost like it's tinted with these colours here. It's weird. So we'll get some of this down, just do a quick test spray. There you go, you can see, you'll see here when I spray it down, initially it's not black. Watch this. There you go, you can see that is more like a dark metallic blue. And as you build it up, you can see we've got the darker colour coming through, and the heavier you go, the darker it gets. So I mean, if you sprayed this over a black primer, it would probably look amazing. In fact, I will do that. After I've done the black, the LP5, I'll come back and put this over it. We'll see what it looks like. You can see it just slowly building it up. As I say, guys, don't comment about my painting technique. This is just a trial to see how it looks when it goes down. This is nothing about how to spray or how to do this or how to do that. There we go. You can see, I can see from here, if you can see, that is not black. That's definitely not black. But what, as I say, what we'll do is we'll get some of the LP5 down, get some of that down here, and then on half of it I'll put this down and see what kind of effect we can get. Perhaps working with the panel lines and stuff. Let's see how it looks. So that airbrush is nearly empty. So we'll just finish off our last bit of paint. There we go. Okay, so I can come in now. I'll give the airbrush a quick clean and then I'll be back. Right, so here's the LP5 mixed roughly 40% thinners, 60% paint. So we'll just get some of this down on here. You can see straight away how much darker this is than the colour next to it. You can see that straight away. So there we go. There's our black, and you can see now straight away that is just a completely different colour. So I'm going to blow that back. Just blow that back and let it dry off a bit. And I'm going to come back and we're going to put some of this on top of that, and I think that's going to give us the really, really good look that we want. Okay, so we've got the cowling colour back in. I just had a bit of fun with a bit of post shading on here, so you can see the sort of effects you can get with it. So we've got the cowling colour here, okay, and then next to it here is the black, and you can see the difference in the colours. When I get a bit of reflection, you can see there is a difference in the colours. So basically, if we come along now and play with this and work in between these panels, I'm just wondering now if we can get that kind of burnt steel effect we're looking for. Just laying it down very lightly between the panels. Just try it back. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to see this on the camera, but I can certainly see it here. You'll see there where we've got the two different, the black there and the grey there, you can see the difference in the shade. But yeah, I don't think you can see it, but I can certainly see it. We've got this kind of, just like I said, it's like a burnt steel effect on the paint. Do some in there as well, and then do some on here. So I think that's the way to go. I think the way to go is paint your cowling black and then put this on afterwards. go. As you can see, it's got a bit of a sheen to it. Which I think is kind of taking away from the effect I'm describing to you. But yeah, very interesting. Okay, so I've gone over it with a semi-matte varnish to try and sort of even things up, get rid of the difference in the sheen. And that's worked. It's very, very difficult to show you on camera. If you look here, get rid of the reflection, you can see the difference, the sort of purpley bluey colour that we've got compared to the black there. Okay, but then when you look up here where I've gone over the black with this colour, you can see you can't really tell the difference between these two colours. They're very, very similar. So what I would basically do if you're doing like the Tamiya kit or whatever, I would spray it black first, perhaps a Mr. Surfacer, Mr. Finishing Surfacer black primer, and then go over with this afterwards in between the panels, because it really does, I can see it here, but it ain't picking it up on the camera. It's kind of that blue steel look. It's really, really nice. I don't know what it would look like with a gloss on it, but there you go. So that's my little selection. So that, again, that was the Ataki green primer, Ataki blue primer, the cockpit colour, which is green, this one here. Then we've got this olive grey Mitsubishi version, which, as I say, please let me know in the comments what's that for, because I don't know. And then I've got the kaolin colour there, which I've just done the last one. So yeah, I'd recommend, if you're into Japanese aircraft, these two certainly look very, very nice. And they also go down very, very fine. As you can see, you can't really see them. These here are sprayed over a silver base, and these are just done over the plastic. And one of the problems with models I find with metallic paints, particularly on cars, the metallic is too big for the scale. But here you can see there's no real metallic fleck in there at all. It's just a beautiful, beautiful colour. So there we go. In fact, you could use that on a model car with a clear coat on it. It'd look amazing. So in fact, I might try that now. Okay, so I've gone over with a quick layer of the clear coat lacquer from Zero Paints, from Hero Boy, and you can see that it's completely changed it, probably because I hadn't left it to dry long enough. But you can see it's kind of eaten into it, and you can see a line there, and that is actually, I don't know if you can see it here, if I can catch it in the light. No, you can't see it. There's actually a line in the plastic, like a cold front. It's actually shown that through. So it's obviously burned its way into that paint. So there we go. But no, I was just trying to see what it would look like with a gloss coat on it. But it's actually probably nicer if you're looking at a gloss finish to spray it over a gloss finish. You get a nicer finish. But probably, as I say, if I left it for 24 hours and then put the clear coat on, it would be all right. But you know, literally that was what, 20 minutes. And I also put some over here to try and get this. I'm trying to show you the colour, but I can't do it. The camera will not do it. It's too slight. I can see it here. I can certainly see the difference there, and I can see the difference. It's lovely, really, really nice. So anyway, I have to show you in the flesh. I'll have to bring it to a show or something. But can you see it there? I think you can just make out the difference there. Anyway. So that's it, guys. That's been those paints. You can get them from Premium Hobbies. I think he's one of the first over here to have them, I think. And I know he was thinking he was probably going to sell out pretty fast. So there we go. So go take a look. I think they're about £4 each, £4.50 each. And they are 30 millilitres. So it's not bad. When you look at Tamiya, these are 10 millilitres, aren't they? Yeah, they're 10 millilitres, and if you look at the LP paints, you know, these are like $1.99 or $2.95 depending what you get. I mean, if they're metallics, they're going to be like $2.95. So $2.95 for 10 millilitres versus $4.50 for 30. So it's not bad. So there we are. Hope you've enjoyed that, and I certainly did. And I'll be looking forward to using these on something in the near future. Bye for now.